Hello, my name is Hayden McCord from the Thompson High School FFA, here today to discuss virtually my Agriscience Fair project, which seeks to determine if there is lactose in so-called lactose-free milk. I selected this project for many reasons, but the main reason was that I, just like 10 to 20% of Americans, struggle daily with lactose intolerance. Lactose intolerance is a condition caused by the body's inability to process the sugar present in milk, called lactose. Lactose is what is called a disaccharide, which means it is composed of two other smaller sugar molecules called monosaccharides, glucose and galactose. These are like Lego bricks which snap together to make this large sugar molecule. The only problem with this is when it is combined together into a large structure, it cannot be used by the cells in our body to make energy. So our bodies have to use a special bond-breaking molecule called an enzyme. For lactose, it's called lactase, and it works through a process called hydrolysis to reintroduce a water molecule back into the sugar so the sugars can no longer bond together. The only problem with this is this system in some people lacks the amount of enzyme to digest milk properly, so what happens is the slow, inefficient bacteria that lives in our intestines have to do the job, which produces methane gas and causes the painful effects of lactose intolerance. These effects cause many people, including myself, to live in fear over the milk that could be in anything. When I first learned about this, I got really excited because that meant I no longer had to suffer through the almond water, which they brand as almond milk. The only thing was that I was skeptical of how free of lactose this quote, lactose-free product could really be, which sparked my curiosity for this research. For this project, I learned many scientific skills and I gained more knowledge about the importance of the scientific method. The first important skill was learning to do a t-test. Using a t-test helped me to locate flaws within my project in order to draw conclusions from only the statistically viable information. For example, I had to realize that the data collected at the 10-minute mark could not be used because somewhere along the way there was an inconsistency, whether it was how fast the enzyme was absorbed and able to start working or another factor. Other skills I learned was the importance of multiple trials in order to verify that the results gained from one experiment is consistent with an overall trend. Like with any scientific research and experiment, collaboration was a huge part to this project. While doing prior research for the project, I found that research is ongoing and numerous studies have looked at the effectiveness of the manufactured enzyme compared to the normal natural enzyme. I used their results to formulate my basis for research, but I actually wanted to look into specific milk brands. I implemented the recommended way for testing for lactose by measuring the glucose, which was incredibly helpful. My conclusion that some milk products labeled lactose-free could still have some residual lactose in them is supported by the fact that there is at least an average of 5% increase of glucose after 30 minutes in all samples. For the test, the lactase enzyme was added to some distilled water and it did not have any glucose in it, which points to the fact that the 5% increase was due to unprocessed lactose itself. And it points to an overarching idea in the food industry of food product labeling. Like with any product labeling, like so-called milk or what can be called certified organic, it needs to be completely true to what it is. So if it's lactose-free, it should be free of lactose. Another factor should be the transparency in the industry should become more common. There should be at least a label that states that the product could have as much as a certain amount of lactose in it in order to clarify to consumers, because that small amount of lactose, which couldn't cause any effects to one person, could still cause the lactose intolerance effect to another person. Thank you.